How you doing, Jose?
Amazing.
He just got a new tool. If I have it, I'm looking at it here, but it's not set up right. I got to get Ricky to get it set up for me, that Stream Deck. That's how I'm feeling right now. I asked you before we jumped on, and I was like, what do you want to talk about? And you're like, bro, the only thing that we need to be talking about right now, which is price reduction. So I've been hearing across the country, from California to Florida, because we are coast to coast, inventory sitting for longer. If a property is not like A+++ location, A+++ condition, that stuff is still, flying off the shelf. Everything else is not. Inventory's climbing. And I was on a group call this week with actually one of our partners in California, Jose, and he was like, yeah, dude, inventory's climbing and nothing seems to be selling. I said, nope, that's not accurate. Agents lack the skill of being able to help somebody to self-discover that their expectations on price is not in alignment with the market, namely how to get a price adjustment. I also said to him, it's also providing you an opportunity to get better at pre-qual, because you need to make sure that the people that you're going to engage with are 8, 9s, and 10s. So I asked them, it was like, I don't know, 60, 70 people on the call. I'm like, hey, how many of you guys really want to be great at this? And they all raised their hand. I'm like, great. Just so you know, this is the environment that's going to allow you to become great, because the marketplace is completely impartial and unforgiving, where if you slack off for a minute, if you think like, oh, I don't need to get good at this price reduction conversation, I promise you'll turn around in 90 days and you'll have no pendings, because you have 5 listings with nothing sold. Or if you think like, oh, like I can make money and then go on vacation for like a month, dude, the next 90 days is going to be extremely painful for you.
Not only that, but like if you're not getting the price reductions, a lot of times you're going to find yourself doing things that aren't really effective. So you're going to end up putting the property on Homes and Land magazine, spending $1,000 here, doing this other stuff when it's really simple. It's funny because I got a phone call yesterday from one of our other partners, and what he said to me is like, Jose, you're not going to believe it. He's like, you know how we've been working on price reductions? I'm like, yeah. He's like, look, I got 2 price reductions and now like I'm priced very well in comparison to the market, basically. He's like, had I not been working on this skill of price reduction, I don't think that my business would, he said, survive.
I know.
In the marketplace right now. And the reality is that if we weren't getting price reductions, that really is the case, because you could end up with like 5 or 10 active listings and none of them moving, and all the sellers like telling you different things. So let's jump right into it. So here, it's funny because as I am working through these, I am a student of this, because I believe that this is one of the skills that Aaron is substantially better than me at.
Did you hear that? If I had something to be like, I would do it. Thank you.
I was doing a price reduction earlier this week, and the guy was like, okay, well, what kind of feedback have we gotten from the 2 showings? The way I thought about it is, when I said the feedback, I don't think that it helped the case of getting an adjustment. Like, meaning like one of the feedbacks on the property was that they ended up going for a 2-bedroom unit versus a 1-bedroom unit, Mm-hmm. The other feedback was that the unit just felt small because it's 800 square feet. And he's like, well, that's kind of like weird, because a small 1-bedroom is more like 500 or 600. This is actually a pretty large 1-bedroom. So, hey, Aaron, what's the feedback on my property as to why people aren't buying the property? How would you handle that? I'm imagining that, hey, look, like you can give them the feedback, but also make it about price and then lead them back to the direction where you need to lead them.
And here's how you do that. There's a bridge. So it's like, yeah, so, we've been monitoring that and paying very close attention. And we actually have 2 pieces of feedback. I know we sent it over to you via email, but I'm more than happy to go over it with you. The first is they decided to go with a 2-bedroom instead of a 1-bedroom, which is okay. We are not able to add another bedroom, right? The second is they felt that for a 1-bedroom, it was small. Now, I'm aware that, that can be kind of subjective. Ultimately, though, as we discussed when we originally connected, how the marketplace lets us know if we're demonstrating value is with showings and a large number of them. Right. So like if the marketplace was really agreeing with us in terms of price and product, do you think we would have had 2 showings right now? Do you think we would have had more?
No, we very likely would have had more.
That's exactly right. So the showing activity is telling us something. And then also the way the marketplace tells us if they see enough value is with offers. So what we're seeing is in both of those categories, the showings are not as high as we would like them to be. We'd like them to be like 2 or 3 showings per week. And then we start to see offers come in, and we haven't received an offer as of yet. And when that happens, Jose, there's usually only a few reasons why. I'd like to review them with you. And then we can go over some options that we have at our disposal. And whatever you end up deciding doing, I'll support you 100%. Fair enough?
Okay.
So the first reason is perhaps, I'm not doing my job. I'm just falling asleep at the wheel, not marketing your property effectively. And I know you don't follow me around every day, Jose. At the same time, what I can share with you is we're doing the exact same things that we've done to help 77 families so far this year sell their homes. So we know that works.
79.
Right? Hey, who's counting? I don't know. The second reason is the condition of the property. And you tell me, do you feel like the home is not in good condition?
No, I mean, obviously it needs work. And I mean, we have that option of doing work to it potentially. I mean, do you think we should do some work to it?
It's a really good question, Jose. I take the responsibility that you provided me with very seriously, which is not only to protect the value of your property, but also, provide you with guidance that would ultimately end up helping you to accomplish your goals and objectives. I treat your money as though it was my money. And the only reason that it would make sense to put capital into it is like if we put $1 in, we would get 2 or 3 back. And in this instance, if you remember, when we looked at those comparables, that wasn't really the case. That ones that did have those modifications, if it cost us 25 to do the upgrades, we may be able to get like 30 or 25 out, 28 out. So it's just like an exchange of capital. I'm in agreement with you that I don't think that is the way to go. And then that leads us with the third option as to why a property is not selling, and that's the price. Now, I did some homework in preparation for this conversation, and I looked at our direct competition, because if somebody's going to look at us, they're going to look at others, right? And I don't know if you're aware of this, but right now for 1 bedrooms in Ventura County, do you know how many are active on the market for sale?
I know.
50.
Okay.
Do you know how many sold in the last 30 days?
I don't.
10. So does that seem like an environment where stuff's like, there's just like a abundance of buyers and everything's flying off the shelf? Or does it seem like an environment that's actually fiercely competitive for those buyers, where buyers actually have a lot of choices and options?
No, the buyers have choices, obviously.
That's right. So just by you saying that demonstrates that you're beginning to recognize that with a high degree of probability, the price is what's causing us to get the lack of showings and offers. So now the question becomes the options that we have at our disposal. Now, before we go over the options, what I'd like to do first is just to revisit like the whole reason why we're doing this, just so I'm clear and I can provide you with information that could be helpful or useful. So refresh my memory. What's the whole purpose and mission behind selling the property?
Well, obviously, like if I'm able to cash out, I think we're kind of like at the peak of the market. So if I'm able to cash out, I'm able to invest the money and deploy it into other things.
Got it. And let's say you cashed out, invested the money, deployed it into other things. What would that do for you?
Well, it would simplify our life.
Okay. And then tell me a little bit about that, like simplifying your life. Like what would you do with the free time?
It would just provide me with extra cash flow, which obviously would be buying back my time, basically.
Awesome. And then at this stage in your life, how important is that to you, Jose?
It's important. I mean, at the same time, though, I don't want to give like a property away,
Oh, 100%. You know what the great news is, Jose?
What?
I'm not in the business of giving them away. And, we're definitely not going to start with you, right? So my job here is to help you. It's never to twist your arm. My intention in kind of going down this track is just to get clear on what's the end outcome. Because I know for myself, sometimes I can get caught up on how I get there and I can lose focus on like what I'm actually looking to accomplish. And it really sounds like the ultimate goal and objective for you, of course, is to get as much as we possibly can, which is what somebody's willing to pay for it. The second is to reallocate the capital so you can reclaim time. And that'll just like simplify things and perhaps give you a little bit more peace of mind. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, good. So with that being the case, we have a few options. And again, you're the boss. My job is just to help you to make informed decisions, never to talk you to do anything. The first option is we could just leave it the same, the price. More likely than not, this isn't me being negative, Jose, just giving you an accurate assessment, we're probably going to get the same outcome, which the lack of showings and offers on the table. And we'll have to revisit this conversation. The second option that you have at your disposal, and it is a drastic option, but I want to make sure we discuss it because it is available to you. Maybe you decide to do something different with it. hold on to it, rent it out, Airbnb. I don't believe that they allow that in the building, but and now based on our initial conversation, I mean, that's not really something you're seriously considering, is it?
No, it maybe renting it out, but not the Airbnb option. That's not.
Yeah, and let's think about that together as a team. So like, because if it makes sense, we'll do it. If not, like, we can reassess. So I know you've had the option of renting it out at your disposal. I'm curious, why did you decide not to use that option and instead decided to put it on the market?
Well, I felt that I can get the 390 for it that we're asking for it right now, and I'm like, look, if I can get that versus a lower amount, then that would basically simplify my life.
I see. And if the goal and objective is to simplify your life, have you been renting it up until this point?
Yeah,
And what was causing you to even like, okay, so being that it was rented, I'm imagining it was cash flowing for you, yes?
correct.
So what was causing you to be like, you know what? I don't want to do this.
It's not a significant amount, meaning like it's cash flowing, but the HOA is like $700. It's only renting for $2,200, so it's not like it's not a significant amount per
Yeah.
month.
So in other words, it seems like the money that you're making is not in alignment with what it's taking from you time wise.
Correct.
Okay. And only you can value what your time's worth, Jose. Because what I'm aware of is like we could sit here, forever and try to squeeze out, I don't want to minimize any dollar because we all work hard for every penny. I know I sure do as well. At the same time, you can sit here for, 5 more years before you could sell it at a price you felt more comfortable with. But what would you be giving up in doing that?
Just time.
And only you can decide how valuable it is. So let me ask you this. If you knew through no fault of your own or mine that in order to sell this property and reclaim all of that time, which again, once we spend it, we never ever get it back as time. It's our most valuable asset. If you knew that in order to reclaim that time, that the marketplace was showing us we'd have to be around 370, do you think you would sell the property?
I was hoping that I would net 370 from the sale. That's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah. And listen, I'm right there with you, man. Like I want to, while we're at it, let's sell it for 500. You know what I mean? Because like I get compensated more money the more we help you sell it for. And my grandfather taught me something when I was young. He said, Aaron, hope is a beautiful word. It's just not the best business strategy. So the question is like, if that's what it would take and you would net a little bit less than what you were thinking, at the same time, I'm curious, like, are you still coming out ahead based on what you paid for it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So like you're winning. And you're doubly winning because not only are you making a return on the capital that you initially invested, plus you've made cash flow this whole time, but then you know what you're reclaiming that's more valuable than all of it? Your time. So I guess the question for you is, because that leads us to the third option, we just simply adjust the price. And in doing so, we dramatically increase the probability we can get you an offer in a reasonable amount of time. We can extract the capital and then we don't have to worry about what's happening in the marketplace or insurance or the dues going up or special assessments. And then, you can reclaim your time and fill it with things that you like and enjoy and reallocate the capital in something that produces more cash for you. So based on what you're looking to accomplish and why, Jose, based on what's important to you at this stage in your life and your desire to reclaim time, what do you think we should do?
Oh, man. What if we increase the price instead and then lower it after we increase it just to kind of make it seem like somebody's getting a good deal at the 390?
Yeah. I mean, Jose, you're the boss. My job's to help you. It's never to talk you to do anything. Can I share with you what would concern me for you and your family and ultimately how much you end up getting if we choose that approach?
Sure.
So what's really interesting is that now we live in a time where information is completely transparent and available to everybody. So any agent that's worth their grain of salt in the multiple listing service, and even on these online platforms, they have a history of pricing. So somebody can see what's been happening since it's been put on the market for sale. So let's imagine you were a buyer, not a seller, and you were going to buy this place all over again. And you're like, hey, Aaron, this property is kind of interesting to me. I want to know some of the history. And I showed you that they sat on the market, didn't sell, and they raised the price. As a buyer, like what would you be thinking in your mind?
Why would they do that?
And why would you be thinking that?
I don't know, because they weren't getting offers and then they increased it.
Yeah. And even without thinking, you would know that if they wanted to get an offer, what would they have to do?
Probably lower it.
Probably. And don't you think most buyers would feel pretty similar to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just by you saying that demonstrates that that strategy really wouldn't serve you and your family best. Because if somebody sees that and then you start coming down again, do you think they're going to start thinking, oh, maybe we can offer something even less?
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't that happen anyways? Like, meaning, like, if I come down like so drastically to 370, like, doesn't that like raise red flags?
Yeah, it's a
Like, meaning,
great question. My experience is that the marketplace, because I understand underneath is like your concern is like, look, man, I just don't want to leave any money on the table. And
that
I'm right
price.
there. Yeah, and I'm right there with you, man, because I want to help you to net as much as you possibly can because we make more money when we help you sell it for more. Now, I'm also aware, Jose, that the difference between the adjustment that we're talking about, it does affect you more than it affects me. Like I am clear on that. What I know to be true, though, is that the marketplace will not allow you to underprice something. Can I explain to you what I mean?
Sure.
Okay, so if 370 is a screaming deal, it is the best deal right now for a one bedroom in Ventura County. What do you think is going to happen in the first week once we make that adjustment?
The activity will probably increase.
I agree. And then what do you think will happen in terms of offers?
We'll probably get some offers on it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It will be more than one. And when people compete, right, for something for sale, who usually ends up winning in that negotiation? The seller or the buyer?
Probably the buyers. No, the seller. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. If I had the button, I'd be like, wah, wah, wah. It's so good. So, yeah, the sellers. And why is that?
Because they got competition.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is they compete. And usually what happens to the price?
It gets better.
Yeah. So, for that reason, Jose, it sounds like you're beginning to realize that like it's impossible to underprice it. If it's a great value, we're going to force people to compete. And what's going to happen is what's going to percolate to the surface is the most that somebody's willing to pay. And as you know, I don't need to tell you what something's worth is what somebody's willing to pay for it. Does that make sense to you?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So with all that being said, I guess the question is what do you think we should do?
Oh man. Yeah. Well, but here's the thing though, Aaron. Like right now at the 390, I'm actually the lowest price one bedroom on the
Yep.
market. You know?
Yeah.
And at 370, the lowest one sold at, let's say, 380. Why would I go down to 370 when the
Yeah.
lowest one sold at 380 and we're already the lowest price one bedroom on the market?
Great question. So price, Jose, is a snapshot in time, right? Because the marketplace is fluid, it's not static. What's also true is I think we all operate under the assumption that real estate always goes up. Now, you've been through a lot of cycles. Is that always the case?
No.
No. Now, what I like to do is, I don't have a crystal ball, and anybody who tells you that they do is not being honest. They're probably trying to sell you something. What I do like to focus on is patterns and seeing the direction that things are going in. So what I'd like to review is a couple things. One that happened on a macro level, and then two, what's happening on a micro level with inventory. And then we can decipher together as a team the pattern and which direction it's showing us the marketplace is headed in, and also our experience as well. We have three different variables. Will that be okay?
Sure.
All right. So the first thing that happened 2 weeks ago that hasn't happened in 100 years is that the credit rating of the United States of America was downgraded from perfect AAA to now it's AA1. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. Now, when you think about it, like for us, me and you, if our credit rating goes down, what happens to the amount of interest we have to pay?
Usually goes up.
That's right. So the way that this works through the economic system is we borrow money to be able to fund our activities as a country. And what we do is we issue bonds. But now that our credit rating is lower, do you think we have to increase the interest that we offer to investors to compensate for the fact that we're seen as more risky?
Probably.
Yes. So what that means is that that'll affect the 10-year treasury note, which ultimately affects interest rates. So everybody's been hoping and wishing and praying that interest rates were going to come down. And it really seems as though that's not going to be the case. It's going to stay this high for longer. That's the first thing. And that affects demand, right? The second thing we're seeing is micro is at our level. Do you know what's been happening to the inventory of condos over the last 12 months?
I don't.
You tell me, Jose, the timeout. Is it going up?
It's going up, but not like to alarming rates.
I get it, but it is ticking up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what we're seeing is that the inventory is actually ticking up. It's not, hasn't like exploded, but it is 18%, 20%, 25% higher than what it was year over year. Now, when inventory goes up and demand stays the same or goes down, what usually happens to prices, Jose?
Probably goes down.
That's exactly right. And then the third factor is we have our own direct experience. So we saw somebody decided to look at us and make an offer somewhere else. That shows us that they saw more value somewhere else than they did with us. And that was for a 2-bedroom. That was probably priced pretty similar to us.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I look at that total picture, which direction does it show me that the marketplace is headed?
Yeah, but I mean, the other one just sold like literally 3 months ago at 380.
I get it. Now, the thing to consider about that, remember, price is a snapshot in time, Jose. So if it went under contract, if it closed 3 months ago, do you know what that means?
No.
It usually takes 45 or 60 days to close. So that means that's actually a 5-month-old comp, not a 3-month-old comp. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So it's a snapshot, you see? So what my general concern is, Jose, for you, ultimately, if you do decide to sell this property, the only reason it would make sense to wait to make this adjustment is if we waited, we'd be able to get more money. Would you agree?
I would agree 100%.
Yeah. And when we look at all of these data points that we just looked at, while it's possible, does it seem probable that if we wait, we'd be able to get more? Or is it more probable that if we wait, based on these headwinds, it could mean less?
Yeah. There's a risk factor.
There is 100%. And that's what my concern is for you and your family. So if the goal and objective is for you to sell this property, do you think it makes sense to do it sooner or later?
Probably sooner.
I agree. So with that being the case, do I have your permission to go ahead and put this adjustment in at 370?
Yes, you do.
Let's go.
Hold on.
There you go.
We're business owners. Yeah. We all own, like, as you start to do deals, you own stock. Like, this is like a group of owners getting together. It's badass, right?
Yeah, this is like a live Zoom call with me and Lars, right?
What I tell our organization is like, let's say we were on like a special forces team. We're getting dropped into enemy territory, but we get separated and you're by yourself in the dark, behind enemy lines, your gear gets scattered, and you see somebody coming up over the hill. You're gonna have 2 responses to that. One response is you're gonna be like, oh man, it's that guy. The second response is you're gonna be like, fuck yeah, it's that guy, bro. Hey, I am gonna be okay.